The Home Office has admitted it is unable to locate thousands of migrants that it intends to deport. I want to laugh at this rubbish. Thousands of migrants it intends to deport to Rwanda because it prepares to detain the first individuals this week. They gave them notice of who it was going to be. A document quietly slipped out by the department states that more than 5,000 migrants have been identified for removal. However, only 2,145 of them continue to report to the Home Office and can be located. The rest have gone AWOL. I don't know where they are. I haven't got a clue where the hell they are. We often use that phrase, you couldn't make it up. Well, you didn't have to make this up. We could have written it beforehand, right? Which bit of allowing 50,000 people a year into your country completely unchecked with no ID did the good folk at the Home Office not understand? You don't need a PhD in border control to see where the cracks are in this one. It's upside down again. You don't need to be a senior government minister to spot the bear traps. This didn't require the United Nations to gently suggest that if you allow unfettered immigration into your country, some of those claiming might just leg it. Half of these characters on boats are nowhere to be seen. I mean, to follow the story, many of those people arrive on our shores and are then seen chowing down on a Nando's just off the M1 within about an hour of arriving at Dover. The best glimpse you might get is at the wheel of an Uber, maybe, or possibly on one of those curious TikTok videos, being questioned about what they've been looking at online. You know the point I'm making. Let's speak on this one with Rupert Lowe, former Brexit Party MEP. Rupert, good afternoon to you.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
Very well. Nice to have you with us. I can see also, just like me, you are massively shocked by this idea that some people earmarked for deportation have disappeared. Who knew?
Well, I like a bit of common sense, as you were saying just now. So, yeah, I mean, this isn't new, though, Ian. There was a lad from the Home Office called Simon Ridley, who probably 3 months ago, admitted that they didn't know where 17,500 of these illegal migrants were, which in itself is quite extraordinary. And now this business of telling people, I think they arrived between January 22 and June 23, to actually contact them and say that we're coming to collect you, and then admitting they don't know where they are, sort of suggests that our borders are too porous. People who come here are not being vetted properly. And when they come here illegally and disadvantage those who apply to come legally, we aren't basically managing the process in such a way that we deter those people from coming illegally. Yeah. Particularly given that 80% of them are young men. True. And not families. So I think they're economic migrants. I don't think a lot of them are, deserve to be given a place in our country. And we are frankly disappearing. Our services are collapsing. As we know, nothing that the state does works. And frankly, their job is to protect the interests of the existing British electorate and taxpayer.
Yeah, and it seems we're also talking about crime this afternoon, Rupert, in addition to this, but there is a correlation here about the sort of the way thinking has changed. It's almost as if we've gone through an era where people thought we need to understand and be kind to everybody without the brutal and obvious, it's not even brutal, frankly, it's just a reality check on if you invite 50,000 people, and we have invited 50,000 people, onto our shores, unchecked, with literally no idea who these people are, mostly young men in their early 20s. I'm absolutely sure most of them are not, horrendous criminals or anything like that, but there will be a contingent. But even if they're not criminals, some of them are certainly going to leg it. They're not going to play by the rule book.
Well, I think, yes, they'll disappear. As you quite rightly said just now, they'll probably undermine the legal economy. They'll undermine those people who pay their taxes properly, because a lot of them won't be properly registered, won't be properly taxed. And at the end of the day, they will undermine those people often on the minimum wage. So, I mean, the only bit of justice that I think there is in this is that when I was in the European Parliament, as you know, I've always thought that the Brexit negotiations, the Irish put up this stalking horse of the Good Friday Agreement to justify this border issue in Ireland, which ultimately was an EU issue rather than a UK issue, because we were never going to put a border up anyway. And now I think, you know, they're reaping what they sowed. We've got the border down the middle of the channel, or the Irish Sea. And at the end of the day, what's happening now, they're bleating that a lot of these immigrants, illegal immigrants who come into the UK can go straight into Ireland across an open border. And now they're suggesting they should send them back. Well, if that's the case, then we, as the Reform Party have always said, should be able to send them back to France, which you know, the border taxi service tends to pick them up and bring them here, doesn't process them properly, and now here we are with them disappearing everywhere. So the implications, Ian, are not good for all of us. Yeah. And I think it's time we held our government, our civil service, and all the people who are paid these vast salaries in huge numbers with huge final salary pensions. It's time we held them to account. You know, in the private sector, if you fail, you get fired.
Correct.
And frankly, you know, when do these people ever get fired or held to account? They don't.
And also, this is the first lot of people being earmarked under this Rwanda scheme. So presumably we're going to go through this time and time again over the coming months. And now that the cat is out the proverbial bag, Rupert, I would imagine other migrants that are thinking, well, maybe I'm a little bit vulnerable to this Rwanda idea, so I'll leg it as well. I can't see this getting any better now.
Well, I think the concept's good, Ian. I think the idea of a Rwanda plan is a good concept, but I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that Suella Braverman, Genrick, and various people who are pretty close to this have actually said it won't work until we pull out of the ECHR and we amend the Human Rights Act, which embeds the ECHR within it. Mm. So the Human Rights Act of 1998 needs to be sorted out, and we need to start acting as a sovereign government who's in control of our own borders and our own laws. So they're right. The concept is good. It shows that if executed properly, it will work. There aren't enough berths for people to be sent to Rwanda, but you know it's a disincentive for those people coming here, not knowing quite where they're going to end up in Africa. But I think there's a lot more we need to be doing. We need to be a lot more decisive, and we need to start to demand that our government not only manages our borders better, but manages every aspect of our lives better. They're just not delivering on what they should be delivering on for everybody who pays now the highest taxes we've had, I think, for 70 years. Yeah. It's extraordinary.
Yeah. You are spot on. Listen, common sense stuff, Rupert. Thank you. Let's speak again. Rupert Lowe, former Brexit Party MEP, talking complete common sense on that. And he hit on a wider point at the end, which we touched on this yesterday. We're probably going to touch on this every day in different forms, about just the sheer lack of any kind of coherence or logic from our government. I mean, if you just came down from another planet and you briefly explained to the philosopher's favoured alien, you know, well, this is planet Earth, this is what we do here, we have somebody running it, and we have these systems in place, better health, education, roads, crime. And the alien said, well, so who's running it? And you went, him. What, Rishi Sunak? Yeah. Well, he's in charge. Yes, he's in charge of the whole thing. I mean, it would just be funny if it wasn't so tragic. And guess what? When Rishi's gone, so Keir Starmer's going to take over. It's like opening a big fat jamboree bag of anticipation that Keir Starmer, I nearly call him Rishi Starmer then, it's kind of interchangeable if you think about it.